Each team will again be debating a controversial issue, but this time I want them to illustrate their argument using a series of pictures which they've never seen before. Marcus and Sarah, you're up for this one. Marcus, I'd like you to start by arguing that God will not forgive Richard Dawkins. Here's your first picture.
Ladies and gentlemen, God will not forgive Richard Dawkins. He's already made that clear by giving him the voice of an elderly lady. Now, I have 2 points that I'd like to make, and both can be represented in the form of toy mice.
That's lucky.
Yes. God, as we all know, does exist and regularly takes the form of a mouse in a gingham shirt and what appear to be lederhosen. Who dressed these mice? If indeed they are mice. So, now, this argument is appearing at this stage to veer heavily to one side. But I think that the foundations of it will keep it standing, and I want a pizza. Yes, there we are, the chimpanzee, ladies and gentlemen, something that Richard Dawkins absolutely insists we are descended from. But as many a clever Christian has pointed out, if we're descended from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? Well, because you've never read anything, you cretins. What is that? What is that?
I think it's a lady's twinkle. I've not seen one up close, but I'm pretty sure.
You see, that's what God is like. He's a murderous, judgmental, petty-minded, twisted, killing, barbaric moron. And he couldn't possibly understand a man as brilliant as Professor Dawkins.
Thanks, Marcus. Sarah, I'd like you to argue the opposite, that God will forgive Richard Dawkins. Here's your first picture.
I'm so glad that Marcus, thank you, has clarified that Richard Dawkins is who I thought he was. I always get him mixed up with Dan Brown. Oh, thank you. Peter O'Toole is also old, much like Richard Dawkins. And they were both in Lawrence of Arabia. Little known fact. And also, God will forgive Hitler when we eventually find him. Who knows where he is? I don't know, like the idea that I'm putting Hitler in the same camp as Richard Dawkins. That doesn't feel entirely comfortable, but sod it, I'm carrying on. Yes, of course, heaven does exist. I don't really believe this, by the way. Heaven... Just to clarify, I've just been told to argue this. Shut up. And, heaven does exist, but I don't think that God will be on the door. I think he's probably got staff for that, so I think people will sneak in. I think the only people who won't sneak in will be people who are wearing trainers and stag doos. Or red. I meant blue. How do we with the Mein Kampf picture?
Thanks, Sarah. Rufus and Jimmy, what have you got to add?
Well, I mean, if we're all God's children, what's so special about Jesus?
He's a bit of a rebel. Hang around with 12 blokes.
Hanging out with 12 guys in sandals. Hello. Fishermen, sailors. Hello.
So, will God forgive Richard Dawkins? It's time for our studio audience to decide who made the best case. It's a red card for Marcus and a blue one for Sarah. Vote now.
Oh, piss off.
A clear victory for the Reds. Well done, Marcus.
Rationality and science are one
Please convince the audience that God will not forgive Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins cannot defeat Jesus in any way. Wasn't it Jesus that said, if you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine? No, sorry, that was Obi-Wan Kenobi, but the point still stands. Christians believe God created in his own image, so it's fair to assume he must look like Joe Brand too.